Hello and welcome back to Medium Rare. My name is Rag Reynolds and today we have 3 stories to talk about. But before we get into those, I do want to encourage you to go check out my Twitter, my Instagram and my Patreon and all that other good stuff if you want to support the channel. And now let's jump into our first story. Sahar Tabar, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is an Iranian Instagram star who has recently been arrested for blasphemy. This lovely lady is known as being a zombie version of Angelina Jolie. I kinda see it. An Iranian Instagram star, famed for posts which appeared to show she had gone to extreme lengths to look like US actress Angelina Jolie, has been arrested, reports say. Sahar Tabar was arrested for crimes including blasphemy and instigating violence, Tasnim news agency reported. Tabar made international headlines last year when photos of her went viral. Though she was rumoured to have had 50 plastic surgeries, most of the pictures in her posts have been heavily edited. Now, the most surprising part of this story is not that she was arrested in Iran for blasphemy or any of this other stuff. Not what she looks like. Not that any of this is a thing. But rather the fact this woman is only 22 years old. She has somehow morphed her face so much through makeup editing, plastic surgery. This 22-year-old looks like this. That's insanity. Absolute insanity. If you ask me, I'm just thinking, what are kids these days thinking? What are these young people thinking? To change themselves so much like that at such a young age? That's terrifying. I mean, it's your body. You do what you want. I mean, who am I to say you can't do it? But I've never been one of those people who say, oh, well, I'm not going to judge because I'm definitely judging. I'm definitely judging. I personally just can't imagine actually wanting to change my appearance so much. I mean, maybe it's a mental health reason. Maybe it's something in someone's head, an insecurity. It makes them want to change themselves so much. I'm sure that's a thing for a lot of people. And to an extent, I can understand when people, oh, I'll get my lips done, or oh, I'll get a little bit of Botox here. But when people actually do so much to themselves to try and look like a celebrity that they like, or change their entire appearance, I don't quite understand it. And I mean, maybe that's because, as I just said, maybe there's some sort of underlying mental issue there or insecurity. And to that, I'm certainly sympathetic if that's the case. But to me, still, I think it's quite severe and not really something that I would encourage anyone else to take up. Anyway, moral of the story, Iran sucks and arrest people for blasphemy and all that crap all the time. I mean, are we really surprised? And so the next story we're talking about is, I don't think it's any more pleasant. In fact, it might be much worse than what we just spoke about. So let me just start this by asking you, how hungry are you? How hungry have you ever been? You know, there's an old phrase, I don't know if they use it in the US or anywhere, but in the UK anyway, when people are hungry, or in Scotland at least, I don't know if they use it in England, but in Scotland, if someone's really hungry, they say, oh, I'm starving, I could eat a scabby horse. So obviously that's indicating that you're so hungry you're going to eat a horse that is scabby, as I just said that. I don't know what's wrong with me today. My grandmother sometimes likes to put a twist on things, and one time she said, I'm so hungry I could eat a fox's turd. Well, that's a story for some other time. But back to the story at hand here, back to the question at hand. How hungry have you been? Could you eat a scabby horse? Could you eat a fox's turd? Could you eat something really disgusting? How about a cockroach? Better yet, are you so thirsty that you could drink cockroach milk? Because I certainly couldn't. I think I speak for many people when I say that I think I would rather just die. Big Think tweeted out, cockroach milk, the superfood of the future, has arrived. And they linked an article. But in the responses, in these comments, oh boy, these replies are, yeah, you can imagine people aren't too enamored with this. Live in a pod, they said. No, I will not live in a pod. Eat the bugs, they said. No, I will not be eating bugs. Drink the bug milk, they said. No, bug milk is not fun, I said. I was then shot 14 times in the back of the head for being anti-Semitic. Sounds about right. Death is a reasonable alternative. I will not eat bugs, and I sure as hell won't drink them. They gotta find a cool name. Everybody loves honey, nobody wanna eat bee puke. My wife immediately hit the gross out button and refused to even listen to the science behind the article. I would imagine this would be the typical response, so marketing will play a huge role in gaining acceptance. Fascinating research if you can get beyond the yuck factor. Okay then, Mr. Squirts, if you think that the research is so fascinating, how about we take a look at what this article actually says. What's 4 times more nutritious than cow's milk and could be key in feeding our ever-expanding population? Chances are your guess was not cockroach milk. But that's exactly the food that an international team of scientists is banking on to become the new superfood. I am so done with this already. No thank you. A team from the Institute of Stem Cell Biology and Regenerative Medicine in India has sequenced a protein crystal from the gut of that thing, the only known cockroach to give birth to live young. To feed its offspring, the roach also produces a milk-like substance with protein crystals which have 3 times the energy of buffalo milk. Before you start imagining how you can milk a cockroach, the scientists have dismissed such an option and are instead sequencing the genes responsible for the production of milk protein crystals. Well, I'm glad to hear that they're not milking those cockroaches in little cockroach factories. I mean, that would be absolutely terrifying. I mean, I can just imagine the footage right now, and we've got all these little things milking all these little cockroaches. That is not a future I want to live in. The crystals are like a complete food. They have proteins, fats, and sugars. If you look into the protein sequences, they have all the essential amino acids, said one scientist from the team. I don't care how nutritious they are. I don't care if I can get on my 5 a day drinking cockroach milk. I will not be drinking cockroach milk. What's also fascinating, the milk crystals release proteins not all at once, but in accordance with the speed of digestion. The leader of the project confirmed that it's time-released food if you need food that is calorifically high, that is time-released, and food that is complete. This is it. This calorie-rich food will be especially helpful to those who struggle to get the necessary amount of calories per day. The roach milk can be a quick source of necessary nutrition. A fantastic protein supplement. So what I'm getting from this is that you want to airdrop cockroach milk into poor countries so that they can drink your cockroach milk and you can get rich and live forever. Okay. Whether enough people around the world can get around the obvious gross out factor that comes from any combination of cockroaches and food is largely dependent on how this kind of milk will be made. As the scientists completed the sequencing, they are moving on to producing the crystal in much larger quantities. In particular, they are looking to focus on how to create the food without resorting to milking cockroaches or otherwise pulling the crystals from their guts. And that is where I'm going to leave this story because I have had enough of it. And the final story we're talking about today, a bit more serious, a lot more serious than those first two, is an update on the Ace family versus Cole Carrigan drama. So if you're not aware, just a little quick summary to bring you up to speed. Cole Carrigan, former member of Team 10, put out a video talking about how his 2 female friends had traumatically suffered, and that was at the hands of Austin McBroom of the Ace family, his father, his NBA friend, and also a security guard. He even had one of these girls give an interview with him anonymously in this video, saying that certain people here she had sex with and she didn't remember giving consent. Anyway, after all that came out, the other girl then appeared on social media named Leslie Hannah Bell, and she gave a statement saying that Austin McBroom did not do anything to her or anyone else. Leslie also gave a screenshot of a text message conversation she had had with Cole Carrigan, where Cole Carrigan had made it clear that his intention was to essentially extort and blackmail the Ace family into paying them off $100,000, and he was going to then split that with the 2 victims. However, obviously they did not pay him off, which led him to post the video that he posted. Austin McBroom then came out on his Twitter attaching the screenshots of the posts that Leslie Hannah Bell had made on her Instagram, and he also attached another thing saying that he had been extorted and that he was being blackmailed and that legal consequences would follow. He later posted another legal update saying that legal proceedings were in progress and that basically they were going to be suing Cole Carrigan. And that's basically where we left it the last time. So A few updates since then. We had a couple more tweets from Cole, such as, if Austin was really a victim of extortion, why post 3 different statements about how you're getting your lawyers involved? If you were really a victim, there would be no case to fight. He's scared because I posted facts. He also tweeted, no, I'm not getting sued for extortion, but Austin McBroom and his team will get arrested for what they did. My intentions were wrong in the beginning, but I realised what was more important, and that is why my video was uploaded with factual evidence. No amount of dollars was ever involved. And from there, people were pointing out to Cole, well, yeah, you say your intentions weren't very good at the start, but then why should we believe you now? You were doing this whole thing on false pretenses. I mean, the whole thing came around is because he thought Keemstar had been paid 500 grand to not make a video, and he took that seriously when Keemstar said that as a sarcastic joke. Yet then he even went on to proceed to lie about all of that in his video, saying that Keemstar was in fact paid off. So people are pointing to all of that and saying, yeah, so why should we believe you about the rest of this? We also have this Leslie Hannah Bell girl who is kind of saying a lot of stuff completely contradictory to what Cole is saying. She's saying that Austin McBroom never did anything to anyone. Meanwhile, Cole is trying to make this all look as if Austin is some kind of monster. We also saw another post from Leslie Hannah Bell on her Instagram story where she had a rant about how no one really knows what's going on and people should stop making assumptions and all that sort of stuff. Feel free to pause the video and check out what this all says. And then finally, we got another tweet from Cole, and he said, life is too short to focus on the negative. And people were not so amused by this tweet. Life is too short to focus on how to make money using my friend's situation. Didn't you make a video focusing on the negative? Clown face emojis. Says the one who just tried to ruin a family. Ha 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 ha. You literally focus on negative 24/7 and use it to your advantage. Oh my lord, you're funny, bro. And that is pretty much all we're up to at this point, because I think a lot of it at this point is being handled legally. I think Austin is sincere when he says that lawyers are involved and things are happening, and it is very likely that Cole was served up some sort of lawsuit, and that's when he's posted about let's not focus on the negative and all that. We can see his demeanor, his whole attitude seems to have just flipped a completely different way, and it certainly seems out of character to me. Anyway, be sure to let me know what you think of that or any of the other stories that we've spoken about during this video in those comments down below. And until next time, my name is Rag Reynolds. This was Medium Rare. Make sure to subscribe, turn on that notification bell, leave a thumbs up, check out the links in the description down below, and you're welcome, society.